What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, live for your fantasy football Q&A, helping you win each and every week in your fantasy leagues, answering all your start and sit questions, lineup questions, trade questions for fantasy football. Week number 6, baby. It's here. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're 5-0. I hope you're 4-1. I hope you're on your way to the playoffs. If you're not, okay, we got to pick it up. But don't you worry, I'm going to help you pick it up. And if you're doing well, I would advise you this. So this is kind of the spot I'm in right now in a few of my leagues. I'm undefeated or only have one loss. If you're in that spot, I would be aggressively attacking the trade market, especially guys that are not doing well in your league, and especially guys that are desperate, okay? So those guys are the guys you want to attack. Try to find the good players on their team and try to negotiate. You guys got to negotiate. Don't just get to the... Okay, I hate this about fantasy football. Don't just click on the guy's name of the team and send him a trade, all right? Text him, Facebook message him, tweet him, Instagram DM him, whatever you gotta do, but have an actual conversation with the person you're trying to trade with. Trust me, something as simple as that goes a very long way. So actually have a conversation, all right? Say, I'm interested in this guy. Who do you want for him? Right? And try to put the pressure on the guy you're trying to trade with. That is a key secret. All right? Try to put the pressure on the guy you're trying to trade with. Say, I want this guy. Who do you like on my team? Let's try to make something work. All right? So, just a quick tidbit before we get started here. So, I'm going to answer all the questions as I usually do on the initial video that I put out this morning. I believe I put it out, which... I only did that this week because there was no Thursday night football, so there was almost no use to put it out on Thursday. So hope you guys have already checked that video out. If you haven't, make sure you do before the week begins. So before I answer these questions, and as I'm answering them, I'm also going to type them back just so I don't forget to answer them later on. Connor says Gronk spiked the like button. Yes, Connor, you're correct. Gronk spiked that like button, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe to The Bottom Line View for weekly fantasy football tips, tricks, and Q&A. Diego says happy birthday to the GOAT Eminem. Happy birthday, Eminem. All right. So let's start off with Kevin Durkant. Mr. Kevin Durkant, the Instagram wizard, the Patreon member. He asked, more Gallup or John Brown for PPR? So, I don't love DJ Moore this week. I can understand why you would play him because he's DJ Moore. And he certainly won't have, I don't think, like a game that will destroy your week. But I don't love the matchup. So I'd probably sit him between these three guys. Now, Gallup, I don't really know what to expect out of Gallup. Like, I think Moore's the best player out of these three, but I think he has the worst matchup. On the other hand, Gallup and Brown have pretty nice matchups. I actually think Brown's the guy that you go with here. And I guess it depends on what you're looking for. I think John Brown, though, provides a decent floor, but actually a really good upside this week. Because John Brown could play that deep threat down the field role for the Bills this week, as he has in past weeks this season. And we saw Henry Ruggs just light up the Chiefs secondary last week. So if John Brown returns, he's healthy, and it looks like he will be back in the lineup. I think he could have a couple big plays in that game. That will be a shootout. The Bills will have to throw the football. And I think John Brown will be very involved. They missed him last week. So I actually think John Brown's the best play here. Gallup, I'm kind of waiting to see who becomes like Andy Dalton's favorite target. So I'm not a huge Gallup guy this week. I think you start Cooper, you start CD, but Gallup is kind of like wait and see kind of thing. Robbie Anderson, Juju, or CD, pick 2 for PPR. I think you got to go with Robbie Anderson, just the way he's playing. He's the true number 1 receiver for the Panthers right now. He's involved in the short and intermediate game. And it's, not the greatest matchup in the world, but I think just the targets and the production, it's been there. So you got to play Robbie Anderson, in my opinion. I think Juju and CD have better matchups, but just the way Robbie is playing, you can't really sit him right now. I think I would sit I think I would sit Juju, but I'm not like 100% sure about that. Obviously, you have 3 great options here, so you can't really go wrong whoever you start and whoever you sit. But the reason I would sit Juju is because of the injury concern. We've seen him get hurt and then kind of leave the game or be banged up, and that have an impact on his game as well. Now, there's no Deontay Johnson, so Juju could be more involved, but that will also mean there might be more defensive attention on Juju. That could also mean Denzel Ward is covering Juju. So there's some things to be worried about with Juju that I don't think are there with CD. I think CD, as the slot inside receiver for Dallas, is going to see a lot of targets in another game that should be high scoring, and he's just been super consistent. So I think you go CD and Robbie Anderson. I would sit Juju, but I can understand why you would start or sit any of the 3 options. Nicholas says start 3 receivers: Robert Woods, Juju, Edelman, Lamb, and Shenault. I would go with Robert Woods, Juju, and Lamb there over Edelman and Laviska. That's my opinion, Nicholas. Curtis says Bell isn't eligible to play this week. LOL. Yeah, thanks. The reason I put him on the start and sit, a couple people said this in the comments, is because I know there are going to be people that are excited about Le'Veon Bell and they're going to want to play him and they never even check that he's not playing. So, yeah, sometimes you got to just put the straight up obvious stuff, right? Like the guy that's been out for 2 days. Plus, I didn't even know that. Like last night, or even, I believe I was writing these down on Thursday. Like I didn't know that Bell was going to not like be deactivated. So I didn't know that, and then I figured it out, and then I was like, yeah, I might as well just leave him on here because people are going to want to play him because he went to the Chiefs, and they're all excited because he hasn't done anything all season, and they're going to look for a reason to put him in their lineups without checking that he's deactivated. So sometimes you got to say that because some people, there's a lot of different fantasy players out there. There's guys that are hardcores, there's guys that are kind of in the middle, casual, and then there's guys on the other side that they don't really pay attention. All right. So sometimes you got to say that. Maybe they'll watch the odd video once in a while. So Claudio says, rank these wide receivers rest of the season: Allen Robinson, Kenny Golladay, Chris Godwin, full PPR. They're all great. I think they're all going to end up being maybe wide receiver 1s. But I would say Golladay first. Man, I don't know. I like all of them. I'm going to say, wow, man, that's tough. Like, honestly, I like all of them. Like, I think they're all really awesome. If I had to say who's last, I'd probably say Allen Robinson. And the only reason is because I think Robinson's quarterback stability and their offense is the worst out of the 3. So if I had to have one on my team, I would probably say, even though Allen Robinson's really good and his chemistry with Nick Foles looks pristine right now, Chris Godwin is going to be a machine for Tom Brady going forward as long as he stays healthy. And that's the caveat here. Kenny Golladay is going to be in a lot of games that are shootouts, right? Because the Lions have no defense. The Lions have Matthew Stafford. They got that connection. He's been really good since coming back. So honestly, I'd say Godwin and Golladay would be my top 2 consistent options with a good floor and a great ceiling, while Robinson would be probably maybe even the best in terms of a floor play, but his ceiling won't be as high as the other guys here. So I would probably say Robinson would be last. But But yeah, Godwin, Golladay are pretty much a toss-up for me. Vern is asking his whole roster for changes here. So Mahomes, Golladay, Julio, James Conner, David Montgomery, Mark Andrews, Alexander Madison, Blankenship, Rams. Then his bench is Breeze. So yes, you play Mahomes over Breeze. Honestly, I would just release Breeze, bro. You could probably pick somebody else up that's, going to help your squad. If I'm just going to be honest here, Vern, you have Patrick Mahomes. You're never going to sit Patrick Mahomes in an ideal world. So I would probably, unless there's no other quarterbacks out there that you could never, ever pick up, I would just release Breeze and pick up another running back, another receiver, or a tight end that can help my team. But what is this, like a two-man league here? You got Chris Godwin on your bench, Amari Cooper on your bench, Mike Davis on your bench, David Johnson on your bench, Jonnu Smith on your bench. Bro, what's going on here? Man, how do you sit some of these guys? How do you sit some of these guys? Whew. This is another situation where you can't really go wrong. Now, Standard League makes it a little different. I think Kenny Galladay's, probably score a touchdown. Julio over Godwin, Cooper. James Conner over Mike Davis is really the question. I would say yes, based on the matchup. I would probably play... Oh, man, that's tough. Montgomery or Davis? Like, Davis is playing better. Montgomery's matchup is better. So I would just say whoever you think's going to win that game, that's the running back I would start. Mark Andrews, I think you got to play this week. And Madison, yeah, I think he should have a big game. I mean, there's no real changes, but like even if you made changes, you can't really go wrong here. You got Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, Devontae Parker, Robert Woods, Mike Davis, David Johnson on your bench. So like, you're going to go off regardless. Choose one of Beasley or Harry. I would go with Cole Beasley. Wait, what league is this? You didn't tell me the league. Now, if it's standard or half, I would go Harry. If it's PPR, I would go Beasley. Choose two, unless Edelman's deactivated. Random dude, by the way. This is who's asking me. Choose two, Cup, Chark, Edelman, Slayton. I would go with Cup, and Chark is out. So it's between Edelman and Slayton. Man, I'm really not feeling Edelman right now, but he is due for a bounce back week. I'm not a huge fan of Slayton this week. Again, it depends on the format, but I think another close one. If you want a floor, go Edelman. If you want a boomer bust play, I would go Slayton there. Benjamin, 2 questions. Should I trade McCaffrey because he possibly is out till week 10 for Devontae Adams, Mostert, and Fant? Ooh, it depends who else is on your team, Benjamin. Like, I don't know who your receivers are, who your running backs are, who your tight end is. Devontae Adams is a top 3 receiver. Mostert is a really good back, and Fant's a okay tight end. So it really depends on who your tight end is and who your running backs are. That, like, McCaffrey, I think is going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be McCaffrey when he comes back, just because Mike Davis has played so well that it's very hard to take touches away from the guy in terms of the full load back on the shoulders of Christian McCaffrey. If you are losing, if you're like a 2-3, 1-4, then I would do that. If you're like a 5-0 or a 4-1, I would probably just keep McCaffrey. That's probably my answer to that question. Start 2, Chris Godwin, Will Fuller, CeeDee, Justin Jefferson, Debo. I would go Godwin and Fuller, I think. Lenny says, who are the 2 wide receivers to start in a PPR league in week 6? Crowder, A.J. Brown, Jefferson, Claypool. I would go with Crowder and Brown. Crowder is just a very safe play, and A.J. Brown has a really good ceiling, so I like that combination of the 2. Santiago says, Crowder, Devontae, Aaron, Mostert, Ronald Jones. What are you asking me here? Oh, pick 5. Crowder, Devontae. Who's Aaron? Mostert, Ronald Jones, Woods, Boyd, Mixon, Slayton, Darrell Henderson, Claypool. I think you have to play Mixon, even though it's not a great matchup. Robert Woods, Ronald Jones. I don't know who Aaron is. Am I missing something with Aaron here? Does anyone know who Aaron is? Crowder, Devontae. You got to play Adams. Don't play Slayton. Don't play. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11 options, and I got to pick 5. So I wouldn't play Slayton. I wouldn't play Henderson. I would play Ronald Jones. I would play Adams. I would play Mixon. I would play Mostert. And I would play Aaron Jones. Is that Aaron Jones? I guess it's Aaron Jones. So go Aaron Jones. Yeah. So I would sit Henderson, Slayton, Boyd, and Crowder. Is that all? I don't know. There's too many options here. It's hard to like. It's hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 option. I got to pick 5. All right. So cross out Boyd. Cross out Henderson. Cross out Slayton. So that's 3. Cross out Crowder. That's 4. Cross out. Ooh. Man. And really, like, the rest are kind of up to you, I guess. And is Devontae Adams or Devontae Parker? Anyways, Deshaun says Ingram versus the Washington defense. It's not a bad play. Yeah, it's one. I think I had it as a start, so I would play him, but depends on your other options. Ronald says Dalvin Cook out, Chris Carson on a bye. Do I start Cam Akers or Jamal Williams? Jamal Williams is just more involved, so I think you can count on Jamal Williams for more consistency there. Lump Nubs says Mitch, Hollywood or Parker in PPR? Parker. Josh says OBJ or McLaurin. I would go OBJ. Jude says, I have to pick up a tight end because Waller is on a bye. Who do I cut? T. Higgins or Devontae Freeman? Probably Higgins. Jake says, Miles Sanders or Mike Davis at flex. And should I sit Parker or trust Amari Cooper? I would start Amari Cooper. And I would play Mike Davis over Miles Sanders. Steven says, do I play Gurley or Gaskins? And should I play Juju or Justin Jefferson in full PPR? I would play Gaskins, and I would play Juju over Jefferson. Jude says, do I start Hollywood, Will Fuller, or Gaskin? Gaskin, I think. Jeff says full PPR pick 2. Parker, Jefferson, Godwin, Juju. Godwin and Juju. Parker is just so, he's good, but he's just so, what's the word? Flaky? Like, I don't know. He's always hurt. Standard league, flex option, pick 1. Freeman, Gallup, Peterson, Cooks. Ooh. Jarrell, Standard League, Freeman, Gallup, Peterson, Cooks. See, this is the thing. How involved is Peterson? Like, does he score a touchdown? Does he get the chunk of the carries? Because in Standard, I think he would be the play. I'm going to go Peterson. As long as he gets the carries, though. Like, I really don't know. Preto says, who should I start in my flex position? Allen Robinson, Robbie Anderson, David Montgomery, or Kenny Golladay? Again, depends on the format, guys. You got to leave the format because that helps me. But I'm leaning towards Kenny Golladay. If it's Standard, though, I would probably go Montgomery. Zerkant says Chark, Fuller, Cup, Cooks, or more. Didn't I already do this question, Kevin or Can't? Okay, so Chark I think's out. Fuller, Cup, and more, I think. Cooks could be good or he could suck, like, honestly. So, yeah. Bo, the Sox fan, says, should I start Amari Cooper or Claypool? Cooper. Do I start them both in one in flex and bench either Gurley, Henry, or Davis? PPR league. Claypool has a lot of upside, though. He does. He really does. Do you start them both in one flex and bench either Gurley, Henry? Is this Derrick Henry you're talking about, Bo Sox fan? Because if it's Derrick Henry, you're playing Derrick Henry. Davis, as in Mike Davis, I assume. Gurley. I don't love Gurley this week. He's been scoring touchdowns, though. I think I'd sit Gurley, to be honest. Maybe that's a little bold, but I think I'd sit Gurley. Connor says Eifert or Sample. Bro. Probably Eifert. You really need to get a tight end. I'd make a trade there. Hurst or Irv? Damn, you guys with desperation tight ends here. I'm going to go Irv. I'm feeling Irv right now. VV says, what's good? My guy Okay, redo that. What's good, my guy? Half point PPR. Darren Fells, Tyler. Who's Tyler Hire? Am I unaware of somebody named Tyler Hire? Higbee? Higbee or Irv Smith? Damn. Fells probably has a good chance of scoring a touchdown. So, Fells might be the play, to be honest. I have Golladay, Parker, and Thielen. Who should I start? Thielen. Will says, should I trade Josh Jacobs if I have Robinson and Kareem Hunt? Yes and no. Depends who you can get back. Aiden says, Cam or Minshew? Cameron Newton. Start 3. Sit 1. Cup, Brown, Parker, Claypool. Sit. Oof. I want to say sit Marquise Brown because if Slay is guarding him, I don't really love that matchup. Connor asks Hollywood Brown or Brandon Cooks. Now, Brown is probably safer. Cooks could have a good game, but I am leaning towards Marquise Brown. Donald says, what's up, Mitch? Donald from Cincinnati checking in. There you go, hating against my team again. When he balls out, don't come in here and say you were wrong. Stop hating on my team. Go Pack, go. What's going on, Donald? Hope you are doing well. Ronald says, need to start 3 wide receivers, Kenny Golladay, A.J. Brown, Will Fuller, CeeDee Lamb, or Justin Jefferson. You're in a good spot, bro. I would go Golladay, Brown, Fuller in that order. It's tough to sit Lamb, though. But I think for sure sit Jefferson. The others are kind of debatable. Will says, Jonnu Smith or Ingram. You got to play Jonnu Smith. Leonardo's Laboratory says, trade proposed to me. I took it, but I'm kind of regretting it. I traded Mike Evans and Jonathan Taylor for Scary Taylor and Eckler. Ooh, you definitely lost now because Eckler's hurt. David says, pick 2 non-PPR. Robert Woods, Edelman, Golladay, Hollywood, Kirk, Hardman. I was thinking Hardman and Kirk, but only for upside. I would definitely play Golladay. And I'd probably go Woods, to be honest, David. So I disagree with your thought there. I would go Golladay and Woods. Juan. Okay, this is the guy I need to answer here. All right. You guys ready for some comedy? All right, so let's go through this. And then I'll get to your questions in the live chat. So make sure you leave your questions right now, and I'll get to them. So Juan says, do you have any homework or research, or do you just make videos for fun? So let's answer that question first. Yes, I did homework. If you watch the video, I don't know how I would know off the top of my head that I don't know. Let's just look at my notes, shall we? Let's look at my notes and tell me that I do not do homework on my videos, guys. Let's take a look. All right. Does that look like a person who doesn't do homework on the video? You guys, let me know. Does that look like somebody that doesn't put any effort into making his videos? Yes? No? Maybe so? Let me know. Like, how would I know that the Colts have allowed a 70 passer rating and have intercepted exactly 9 passes and only allowed exactly 7 passing touchdowns? Bro, how? Did you watch the video? How would I know that the Colts have allowed exactly 179 passing yards per game? Who do you think I am? Warren Sharp? All right. So that answers your first question. So yes, I do homework and research. And yes, I also make videos for fun. So I do both. He says, LOL. It seems you know very little about football. Okay, Juan, would you like to come on the channel and we can have a talk? He also says, Bell is not eligible to play this week. All right, thanks. That was announced this morning. He says, it was announced very early this morning that Gordon would not play. Yeah, I made the video yesterday. How was I going to know? All right, next. Please either do a lot more research, okay, or disclose to your audience that this is all your make-believe opinions. Okay, so couple answers here. So first, I do my research. Second, I am not a fantasy football channel. I am a NFL channel. So the guys that are watching my videos aren't just watching for me to regurgitate stats. Anybody can come on here and make a video and go and Google search how many points the Jags defense has given up to tight ends. Anybody can do that as long as you do the work. They're here to also hear my opinion on the team and the football itself and the matchups because I know all the teams. All right. So that's why they're here. All right. Then he says, I said, sorry, who are you? And then he said, don't be sorry. Just put a little bit more effort in your videos if you actually have any intent on helping fantasy footballers. If you guys were following my tips at the beginning of the year, you would probably be 5-1 or 5-0, 4-1, or 3-2, because that's exactly what my records are right now. So if you pick the players that I said to pick, you'd probably be in a good spot. He also says COVID-19 protocols won't allow Bell to play for the Chiefs this week. And if you had any insights on Gordon's situation, you would have known yesterday evening Gordon was a scratch. If you're making these videos for profit and are strictly a business entrepreneur, good luck and go on. But if you want to be a legitimate fantasy football channel, please do a little research in your videos. Maybe give more reasoning behind your picks instead of pulling them out of thin air. Just a suggestion. Okay, Juan. If you are a guy, I don't know this to be true or not, if you're a guy that has have you ever made a video before? Have you been on TV before? You have a radio show? You have a podcast? Like, if you have any of those things, then sure, you can critique me and you can tell me how to do the videos, all right? You can give me some advice. Like, I'll take advice from my buddy John on Hot Take Hockey. I'll take advice from guys on TV who know what they're doing. But a guy named Juan with no profile picture on YouTube does not have the right to sit here and critique any YouTube channel especially about the effort it takes to make a video. This is like me saying to Derek Carr, this is how you should throw the football, bro. Like, I'm not in the NFL. All right. I should not be allowed to say that Derek Carr, you should change your mechanics to throw this way. I can say, it looked a little off, but for me to say, yo, Derek Carr, you should throw the football slightly more, square to the target. Bro, come on. It's like me saying to LeBron James, this is how you should shoot a foul shot. At least get a profile picture before you critique somebody, all right? Maybe make one video. I'm just standing up for not just me. This has nothing to do with really me. The only thing it has to do with me is when people say that I put no effort in, that's when I take offense. If you're going to say the video sucks or my picks are bad or I'm bad at picking, then sure. But if you say I put no effort in the video, that's when it becomes a problem. But the other part is I'm sticking up for other people that make videos because everybody thinks they can make videos. So why don't you just make your own videos? All right? So I'm done with the rant. But regardless, let's get to the questions, guys. Hey, I compared myself to Derek Carr because I'm not the Tom Brady of YouTube. I'm probably closer to the Derek Carr. That's why I said Derek Carr. All right, I'm not the Tom Brady yet. Okay, so I'm not gonna say I'm Tom Brady, but I'll say I'm Derek Carr. That's why I picked Derek Carr. All right, let's go ahead. Ask those questions. The chat. Thanks, guys, for supporting me. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed that rant. Grog spiked the like button. But ask the questions now because I won't be able to see them. There's too many comments. Yes. Somebody should make it became personal to me. Diego says, let's go flame Juan. Bus says, Godpool or Fuller? Man, as much as I like Godpool, Fuller's been so consistent lately with the targets, the touchdowns every week. I have Fuller in I think 2 or 3 leagues, and he's been really good to me, so maybe I'm a little biased. I also have Chase Claypool as well. I would find a way to play both of them, Bus. I would understand if you play Chase Claypool, no Deontay Johnson, so he has big opportunity this week, but I think Fuller's certainly safer with just as much upside because Fuller is a big play kind of guy. Timothy says Matt Ryan or Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'd probably go with Matty Ice. Fitzpatrick, I think, is going to have no reason to throw a lot, while Matt Ryan will likely be in a shootout kind of game. I expect the Dolphins to destroy the Jets, so I don't think it will be very close. Preto says Hooper, Ebron, or Hurst. I would go with Ebron there. Ken Truck says Juju or Claypool. Ooh, that's a good question. I think Claypool has more upside. I also think Claypool will probably see an easier matchup. And I also think, maybe this is a little crazy, I think Claypool might be better. Coach says J.K. Dobbins upside. Certainly has upside, talented runner, player, good in a good offense, a good running game. But I think he's going to be stuck in a committee for pretty much this entire season. So maybe he has some upside if there's an injury there or if they phase out one of the other running backs, but I don't really see that happening anytime soon. Randomness says, who should I start? John Brown or Michael Gallup for my flex spot in a standard league? I would go with John Brown. As I said, I'm not super confident in Michael Gallup right now until I see how Andy Dalton uses his three receivers and where the targets go between them. Ken Truck says Juju or Claypool. I think I answered that. Brian says pick 3 PPR. Diggs, definitely. Galladay, definitely. And then it's between Brown and Justin Jefferson. Ooh, which Brown? If it's A.J. Brown, I'd go A.J. Brown. If it's Jefferson, I'd probably go Jefferson. But that's close. If it's John Brown and Jefferson, that's very close. It's almost like flip a coin. GSP says, yo, who wants to do trades? Right? I've always been on the God Pool hype train. Come on, guys. I've been stashing him in my biggest league for like 4 weeks, and he finally goes off on my bench. Connor says Zeke. Come on, Connor. Zeke. Jonathan Taylor, Edmonds, Madison, Cooks. Full PPR pick 3. I go Zeke, Madison, and Taylor. Brishan says hi. What's up, Brishan? Diego says hi. What's up, Diego? Kay says pick a flex. James Robinson, Cooper, or Galladay. Robinson. UGA says pick for wide receiver 2 spot. Boyd, Claypool, Chark, Moore, Samuel, Slayton. I think I did this one, but if I didn't, I'd go Boyd and Claypool. I think your top 2 are correct. Brian says pick 2. Robinson, Zeke, Madison, Robinson, Gurley, David Johnson. Zeke and Robinson. Stream Madden. Maybe I will. Would you guys like for me to stream Madden occasionally? Maybe I'll do that. Should I get like a Twitch and start streaming on Twitch? Ken Truck says one more guy in my other league. Mixon or Sanders? I think I like Mixon more than Sanders this week. Kevin says, do I start Devin Singletary, Jamison Crowder, or Scary Terry? Singletary, I think. But I'm not super confident about that. Maybe Crowder, actually. I don't like Scary Terry's matchup this week. Bradbury has been maybe like the best corner in the league right now. So I'm trying to sit McLaurin if I can. But he's probably still going to see a lot of targets, like probably like 8 to 10 targets. So he's still going to get his cash, but just not super high upside. How's my day going? It's all right. Ali Cox and Blankenship for Tanyan. And whenever you trade a kicker, yeah, it's a win. Nicholas wants me to stream here. Diego wants me to stream here. Durkant, eyeballs. Ben says, should I start Devontae Parker or Robert Woods in a standard? Parker, Robert Woods. I would go with, in a standard. Probably Parker in a standard league. Durkant says Zach Moss might take over for Singletary on Monday. I hope so, as a guy who owns a lot of Zach Moss on my bench. UGA says, sorry, wasn't clear with my previous question. Boyd or Claypool? Claypool has a better matchup, but Boyd is very consistent. So I'm leaning Claypool, man. Kevin says Julio. Whenever you start with Julio, I'm just going to finish answering the question, Kevin. So I'm going to just go with Julio there. Scary Terror. Julio. There can't says Humphrey and Alexander have been the two best cornerbacks. I mean, Bradbury's been pretty damn good. He has, though. You got to give him his respect. Timothy says Darrell Henderson or Devontae Parker. I'd go with Parker, to be honest. Henderson's been kind of up and down, kind of unpredictable. Parker should have a pretty damn good game versus the Jets. All right, I'll stick around for a few more minutes. Byron Jones has arguably been the best when playing, Mitch, but he's been hurt, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm sure the Cowboys are missing Byron Jones. The crazy part to me is a lot of people said that Byron Jones wasn't even that good when he was on Dallas, which was like wild. Do you do survivor picks? I actually haven't this year, but I have in the past. Do you want a survivor pick this week? Is that what you're asking? If I were to take a survivor pick this week, I would take the Patriots. Taylor or Mixon? Taylor, actually, I think. Better matchup. Mixon is getting to be very consistent, though, because he's being more involved as a receiver. Brian says the Bears will be 5-1 tomorrow. Montgomery will have his breakout game. Montgomery is turning into a running back number uno. Who could I start, Mike Jackson or Connor? Michael Jackson? Mike Jackson. Who's Mike Jackson? Am I blanking? No problem. Breida, Freeman, Moss, or Juszczyk? Roll with Moss and see how it goes. But Freeman's definitely the safest out of all of them, but I think Moss has the most upside out of all those picks. Bus says, Mitch, you should do another Patreon stream where we all just talk football. All right, Bus, I could do that soon. Are you going to be there, though? I need Nicholas to show up. I don't know if Nicholas is still a Patreon member, though. Tanyan or Fant? Fant's out, so Tanyan. Swift or Moss? Swift. I would say Connor. Yeah, I don't know who Mike Jackson is. Michael Jackson? Like Kevin says Odell or Allen Robinson or Robert Woods. I have a feeling Odell's going to have a big game versus Steelers. The Steelers have surprisingly given up a lot of points to receivers this year. Robinson is probably the safest option, though. Yo, Nick, what's up, man? Are the Bears going to win? What are you talking about, randomness? Wait, actually do at least one on this channel. What are you talking about? Tanyan or Ebron? Ebron. Eric says, which defense do you think will have the most fantasy points this week? Patriots. Odell, I believe, is good to go, Michael. He was cleared, so. And he's not hurt. Justin says start 2. Gallup, Hardman, and who's Shemal? Okay, you're going to have to redo that one, just incredible. Talk football on this channel. I don't know if you've ever been on this channel, Randomness. I know you have, but I talk football on this channel all the time. Bears are winning, says Durcat. All the pressure on the Bears. Do a football live stream on this channel. Okay. Brian says Bears getting the head-to-head over the Bucs will be huge come playoff time. Unless the Bears win their division. I think the Bucs are going to win their division, to be honest. So I don't know if that's really going to matter. Opium says, who has the best defense in the NFL? That's a great question. Does anyone have a good defense? I think the best defenses are, in no order, I think the Bears have a good defense. I think the Bucs have a good defense. The Patriots, the Steelers, and the Colts. I think those are probably the top 5 defenses. And the Ravens. So those are like the 6 best defenses in the league. And you could order that in any way you like, and I would be fine with it. I don't think there's one clear-cut best defense right now. I think it depends on the matchup. Drake or DJ? I would go with David Johnson. Oh, Shenault. Okay, that makes more sense. So no Watkins for the Chiefs. I think Shenault's going to see a lot of work, so I'd go with him in a PPR. Yeah, the Bucs would be tough a second time. If the Bucs just stop taking penalties, they're going to be tough to beat. James White, Phillip Lindsay in half PPR. Says Mario. Or Mario, I'm not sure. Probably James White. James White's role isn't as comfortable as it has been, though, in the past. But he definitely could score a touchdown. Probably more likely than Lindsay to do so. Even though Lindsay's the starter, I don't know how many touchdowns the Broncos are going to score. Like 1, maybe 2. I'd be shocked if they scored 3 touchdowns. Diego says, I'm interested to see how Dalton does with that offense. I am too. I think he's going to play well. By the way, guys, I talked about all the quarterbacks in the NFL across the board on Patreon. I did a special on Patreon talking about the quarterback position, the state of the quarterback position. So if you're interested in that video, definitely go check out Patreon, $3 a month. I might do that for other positions as well if the Patreon members want me to do so. But I just felt like talking about quarterbacks, so I did. In Madden, yeah, I lost in the divisional round to Leroy. Leroy's really good, though. Leroy is like the GOAT other than Flo. He's like the second GOAT. So you want me to do a random football Q&A live? All right, randomness. I could do that. Ken Truck says, Dalton or Tannehill or Fitzpatrick? Dalton. Brian says, watch the name retracted. What? Really? What? Diego, why are you so mean, bro? I think Lindsay will be startable, but I don't think he'll do great. Why Diego a dick like that, though? GSP says Wentz equals Trubisky, but everyone makes excuses for him. Damn. What's up, Turtle? Turtle's on his 4th girlfriend in the last 6 days. Boss says, do a video on why you should jump on the God Pool hype train before it's too late. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I'll have a feature from Bus So Real. Brian says, Nick, even if Foles does good this year, I want the Bears to draft a quarterback. Definitely. Bears need a quarterback. They don't even need to draft one. They could just, get Matt Ryan. Michael says, who wins every division? Right now, I'm going with, let's start with the obvious ones. I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm going with the Packers. I'm going with the Seahawks. I'm going with the Bucks. I'm going with the Cowboys. Although I think the Eagles will make that interesting for sure. New England. I'm not sure about Baltimore winning their division, to be honest. I could see Pittsburgh winning that division. And I'm going with the Titans. I guess I'll go Baltimore, but it seems like Baltimore's only really bad versus the Chiefs. So I'll stick with Baltimore until I see them lose to somebody not named the Chiefs. Maybe they will versus one of these teams coming up. Yes, Ken Shock's right, bro. Opium, I could see it going either way, but I think New England looks more well-rounded at this moment. And I have gone full homer, as Kevin Durkant has put it. All right. Should I end it there? Yeah, the Finns could compete for a spot. That would be good. All right. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to Gronk spike that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to The Bottom Line View for more. It's Mitch. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We will see you on Monday because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. We'll see you on Monday for the Monday doubleheader bonanza live stream on The Bottom Line View. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy the football. Great slate of games. I want to take it all in. I suggest you do as well. And some big ones, man. I'm really pumped for the Packers and the Bucks. That should be a great game. And even the Sunday nighter is pretty good. So enjoy your Sunday. It's been Mitch. Hopefully you got all your answers to all your questions. Thanks for watching. Peace.